When he held my hand that evening, it felt like the world had suddenly become quiet. Not silent, just quiet enough for me to hear my own heart again. I remember the way his fingers trembled when they touched mine. It was such a small thing. A moment most people would ignore. But for me, it felt like the start of something I had been waiting for without knowing I was waiting. He looked at me with a softness that made me uncomfortable at first. Not because I didn't want it, but because I wasn't used to being looked at like that. Like someone finally saw me. "Can I tell you something?" he asked. I nodded, even though my voice was not ready. And then he said the sentence I still carry inside me like a quiet, warm memory. "I chose you, because you were the first person who made me feel safe to be myself." Those words. They reached a part of me I had hidden for years. A part covered with old disappointments, quiet loneliness, and the fear that maybe I was never enough for anyone. I didn't cry that day. I didn't know how to. I just held his hand back, gently, the way you hold something fragile. And for the first time in a long time, I allowed myself to believe that maybe, just maybe, I deserved something kind. People think love begins with fireworks or dramatic moments. But for me, love started in the quiet. In a simple touch. In a sentence spoken softly, without any need for grand gestures. That moment changed me. It didn't fix my life. It didn't solve my problems. But it gave me strength. It gave me a feeling that someone saw me, truly saw me, and still chose me. And sometimes, that is enough to change the entire direction of a life. But before I tell you why he held my hand that day, and what led him to say those words, I have to tell you the story from the beginning. Because the truth is, I didn't believe I could be chosen. Not after everything I had gone through. Not after the years of walking alone, even while surrounded by people. Not after the mistakes, the heartbreaks, the quiet nights where I slept beside my own doubts. So let me go back. Let me start where all stories begin. From the moments that shaped me before he ever entered my life. I grew up in a small house with creaking floors and windows that always let in the wind. It wasn't perfect, but it was home. I remember laughter echoing down the hallway on some days, and heavy silence on others. My parents loved me, but they loved the world too. Their work, their responsibilities, their own dreams. Sometimes, I felt like I was living in the space between all the things they were busy with. I learned early how to keep my feelings quiet. If I was sad, I would fold my sadness into small shapes and hide them under my pillow. If I was hurt, I would smile and pretend it was nothing. I thought that was strength. I thought strength meant not needing anyone. Maybe that is why I grew up feeling invisible even when people said they loved me. I didn't blame them. I still don't. But the truth is, emotional loneliness has a way of shaping you more deeply than you realize. In school, I was the quiet one. The one who listened more than spoke. The one everyone liked but no one really knew. I was the friend people called when they needed someone calm. Someone safe. Someone who would not cause trouble. I didn't mind it. But sometimes, when I walked home alone, I wondered if anyone would ever choose me first. Not as a backup, not as a safe choice, but as someone they genuinely wanted. As I grew older, I learned how to handle life by myself. I learned how to work quietly, how to smile politely, how to give more than I received. People appreciated me for my calmness. But they never looked deeper to see what lived underneath that calm surface. By the time I reached my mid-20s, I had already been through 2 relationships. Both of them gentle in the beginning, both of them slowly fading like colors left out in the sun. No arguments, no dramatic endings. Just slow drifting apart. Slowly realizing I was more of a comforting presence than someone's chosen dream. And each time, when it ended, they said the same thing. "You're wonderful. I just don't feel that spark." That spark. People talk about it like it's a small thing. But it leaves huge scars when you are always the one who is almost enough but never quite the one. So I told myself that love was not for me. Not the big kind. Not the permanent kind. I would live quietly. I would take care of myself. I would be kind. And that would be my life. I almost accepted it. Until the day he walked into my story. I met him on a rainy afternoon, the kind of rain that makes the world look like it is breathing slowly. I was sitting by the window of a small cafe, waiting for the rain to calm down before going home. I liked that corner seat. It made me feel like I could watch life without being seen. I didn't expect anything unusual that day. I was reading a book. My tea was getting cold. My thoughts were wandering, the way they always did on slow afternoons. Then he walked in. I didn't notice him at first. Not until he approached the counter and asked the barista a question with a voice that sounded gentle. Not soft, not shy, just gentle in a way that felt familiar to me. When he turned around, looking for a place to sit, our eyes met. It wasn't dramatic. There was no sudden spark or music swelling in the background. It was just a moment. A simple human moment. But he smiled. And I don't know why. But something about that smile made me look down at my book even though I was no longer reading. He walked closer. "Is this seat taken?" he asked. I shook my head. And that was how the first chapter of us began. Not with fireworks, but with rain, tea, and a seat that happened to be empty. He introduced himself. I introduced myself. He sat down, and for a few moments we shared the soft silence between strangers. Then he spoke again. "Do you come here often?" It was the kind of question people ask when they want to keep talking but don't know how. "Yes," I said softly. "It's quiet here. I like quiet places," he replied. That surprised me. Not many people chose quiet. Not many people felt comfortable in it. We talked a little that day. Small things. Simple things. Nothing that would hint at the future we had no idea was coming. When the rain finally stopped, we stood up at the same time. "I guess I'll see you around," he said. I smiled politely, thinking it was just a polite thing people say. I didn't know he truly meant it. I didn't know he would come back. I didn't know he would sit at that same seat again. And again. And again. Until the quiet stranger became someone I missed when he wasn't there. He returned 2 days later. I remember because the sky looked the same as the day we met, soft grey, a hint of rain in the air, the kind of weather that made people walk faster, but made me slow down. I had already taken my usual seat by the window. A warm cup of tea was in front of me. My book was open, though my eyes weren't really reading the words. I was thinking about little things, the way I always did when the world outside looked peaceful. When the cafe door opened, I didn't look up at first. But then I heard the same gentle voice say something to the barista. And my heart. It reacted before my mind did. He looked around until he saw me. Then he gave that same soft smile, the one that felt like a small sunrise held inside a person. "Is the seat still free?" he asked. "Yes," I said, trying to sound casual. But something inside me felt warm in a way I couldn't explain. He sat across from me again, as if that place belonged to him now. We talked a little longer that day. Not much, but more than last time. He asked what I was reading. I asked what he liked to read. He told me he preferred real-life stories over fiction because they made him feel connected to the world. "That's interesting," I said. "Most people read to escape the world." He looked straight at me then, with eyes that seemed to understand something about me I had not said out loud. "Maybe you do both," he said gently. It startled me. I didn't know how he could see something I barely understood myself. I looked away. He didn't push. Instead, he talked about his work. His simple routines. His habit of needing 1 hour of quiet every day to keep himself sane. "I like quiet people," he said at one point. "They don't waste words. They share only what matters." A part of me wondered if he was talking about me, but I didn't ask. Over the next few weeks, the cafe became our meeting place. We never actually planned it. It just happened. Sometimes he arrived first. Sometimes I did. Sometimes we arrived at the exact same time and laughed quietly as if the universe had arranged something small and kind for us. We never exchanged phone numbers. Never asked personal questions. Never pushed boundaries. We talked about books, weather, childhood memories, funny situations, small observations. All in the gentle, slow rhythm that made everything feel safe. One day, He brought an extra pastry. I wasn't sure what you liked, he said. So I got the simplest one. Simple. Just like him. Just like the feeling between us. I took it slowly, my hands brushing his by accident. Or maybe it wasn't an accident. I didn't know. But the touch stayed with me long after the moment passed. As the days went by, I found myself waiting for him. I didn't plan it. But every time I walked into the cafe, my eyes searched for him before I could stop myself. And when he wasn't there, something inside me felt strangely empty. Not painful. Just missing something I didn't know I needed. One evening, as I sat alone, I caught myself looking at the door too often. When he finally walked in, relief washed over me. It scared me. I wasn't used to needing people. I had spent years building walls that kept me safe from expecting too much. Expectations led to disappointment. Disappointment led to loneliness. I thought I had learned that lesson well. But he made me forget it without trying. That was the first sign of the quiet conflict beginning inside me. One late afternoon, as we sat together, he said something that made my heart pause. "You always look like you're listening to things people cannot hear," he said softly. I froze. No one had ever said anything like that to me. "What do you mean?" I asked quietly. He tilted his head slightly, studying me with gentle care. "You listen with your whole heart," he said. "And people who do that often carry a lot inside them." My breath felt stuck. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know whether to deny it or to accept it. He didn't wait for my answer. "You don't have to explain," he said. "You don't owe me your story." That sentence. It felt like a door being opened gently, not forced. It made me trust him more than I expected. But trust was something I had learned to be careful with. One evening, he asked if I wanted to walk with him. It wasn't a big invitation. Just a simple question spoken with quiet confidence. "Yes," I said, surprising myself. We walked slowly along the sidewalk where the streetlights cast soft golden circles on the ground. Cars passed. People talked. Shops closed. But our footsteps felt like they belonged to their own small world. At one point, he slowed down. "You walk like someone who's used to matching other people's pace," he said. "You don't walk for yourself." I looked at him, startled. "No one has ever noticed that," I whispered. He smiled a little. "I notice things about you," he said. "More than you think." My heart felt warm. And afraid at the same time. Being noticed was a blessing. But it was also a beginning of vulnerability. It was not a real argument. Just a quiet misunderstanding. But for someone like me, small conflicts feel big. It happened when we talked about fears. He said, "I'm afraid of losing people I care about." I said, "I'm afraid of being someone people leave." He frowned softly. "Why would anyone leave you?" "People get tired," I replied quietly. "They find brighter things. Softer things. Easier things." He shook his head gently. "That's not how real connection works." I looked down. Real connection doesn't happen to everyone. He exhaled slowly, looking at me with something like sadness. "You're so used to expecting the worst," he said. "It makes me wonder who made you feel that way." I stayed silent. There are moments when silence says everything. We didn't talk for the rest of that evening. But it wasn't a cold silence. It was a silence filled with thoughts, questions, and emotions that neither of us knew how to express yet. When he walked me to my door, he said softly, "I didn't mean to upset you." "You didn't," I whispered. But maybe something inside me had been touched. A place still healing from old memories. It happened 3 weeks later. I went to the cafe at our usual time. I sat at our usual seat. The light outside was soft. My tea was warm. But the chair across from me stayed empty. I waited. 10 minutes. 20. 30. That night I realized something important. I had become attached. Attached to his presence. Attached to the calmness he brought. Attached to the idea of him walking into my day like he belonged there. And attachment was dangerous. He came back 2 days later. I was at the cafe again, pretending to read my book. When I saw him walk in, relief washed over me so deeply that I felt breathless. He looked tired, a little distant. But when he saw me, something in his eyes softened again. "Hey," he said. "Hi," I replied, trying to sound normal. "I'm sorry I wasn't here," he said gently. "I had something important come up." I nodded. "It's okay." He studied me for a moment. "You look like you thought something happened," he said quietly. I looked down. "I just didn't expect to miss you." There. A truth I didn't plan to speak. He reached across the table, and for the first time, his fingers touched mine on purpose. "You can miss me," he said softly. "It's allowed." My heart felt like it was being held in warm hands. As we continued to meet, I noticed something too. Sometimes, he paused before saying things. Sometimes, he looked like he wanted to share something but held back. Sometimes, his smile faded when he thought I wasn't watching. One evening, I finally asked, "Are you okay?" He hesitated. Then he said, "I'm always okay." But it didn't sound true. That was when a quiet worry began inside me. Worry for him. Worry for us. Worry for the fragile connection that was slowly becoming something deeper, something real. And deep things, they can break if not held gently. It was late one night when he walked me home again. The street was quiet. The sky was dark. Only the streetlights guided our steps. When we reached my door, I turned to say goodnight. But he stepped closer. Not too close. Just close enough that I could feel the warmth of his presence. "May I?" he asked softly. I nodded before I understood the question. He wrapped his arms around me. Slowly. Gently. Carefully. As if I might break if he held me too tightly. And I melted into his embrace like I had been waiting for it all my life. No words. No rush. Just a quiet moment where two hearts decided to beat closer. When he let go, he said softly, "I feel peaceful with you." My breath trembled. "I feel safe with you," I whispered. His eyes softened. But beneath that softness, I saw something else. A hint of fear. A shadow of something he wasn't ready to say. As days turned into weeks, our connection deepened. But with depth came fear. My fear of losing him. His fear of something I didn't yet understand. Small things began to change. He would look at his phone and hide the screen. He would get quiet when I asked about his day. He would sigh softly when he thought I wasn't listening. Something was shifting. Something was growing beneath the surface. A conflict neither of us knew how to name. But I felt it. Just like you can feel a storm even before the clouds arrive. He felt it too. I could see it in the way his smile sometimes trembled. In the way he held my hand longer than needed. In the way he looked at me like he was afraid of losing me. Or afraid of something else entirely. Whatever it was coming. Silent. Slow. Inevitable. And it would change everything. It was a Thursday evening. The cafe was quieter than usual, as if the world was holding its breath. I was already sitting by the window when he walked in. But something was different. He smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. His shoulders were tense. His steps slower. He looked like someone carrying a weight he did not know how to put down. I watched him sit across from me. He kept his hands on the table, but his fingers tapped nervously. That was unusual for him. "Long day?" I asked gently. "Something like that," he replied. I waited for him to say more. He didn't. He looked out the window, and I could see worry in his eyes. Something heavy. Something real. I reached across the table and touched his hand. He froze for a moment, then relaxed slightly. "You don't have to pretend with me," I whispered. He swallowed hard, but he didn't speak. Not then. Not yet. That was the first sign that the turning point was coming. For the next few days, I felt him drifting. Not intentionally. Not because he wanted to. But because something in his world was pulling him away. He answered questions with shorter sentences. He avoided eye contact more often. He smiled less. It was not rejection. It was fear. I could feel it. Fear has a way of filling the space between two people even when they are sitting quietly together. One evening, when I looked at him, he whispered, almost to himself, "I don't want to hurt you." My heart tightened. "Why would you hurt me?" I asked softly. He shook his head. "I can't explain." "Not yet." Those words stayed with me long after I went home. They echoed in the quiet of my room, in the stillness of my thoughts, in the soft ache of uncertainty. Something was hiding behind his silence. And whatever it was growing. After weeks of quiet connection, we had unknowingly built a routine. Meeting, talking, smiling, sharing peaceful moments. But one day, he didn't show up at all. Not at the cafe. Not outside. Not anywhere. I waited longer than I meant to. My tea grew cold. The daylight outside faded slowly. But every time the door opened, it was someone else. When I finally stood up to leave, there was a tightness in my chest I couldn't hide from myself anymore. I missed him. I worried for him. I cared. Maybe more than I should. That night I sat on my bed and whispered into the darkness, "Please let him be okay." The next morning, I found something unexpected. As I walked to the cafe, I could feel that something was different. Something in the air. Something in my steps. When I reached the counter, the barista handed me a small folded piece of paper. "He asked me to give this to you," she said. My heart stopped for a moment. I sat down at our usual table and unfolded the note with trembling fingers. It said only 4 words. "Please don't give up." No explanation. No reason. Just a quiet plea. My eyes watered quietly. Why would he think I would give up on him? Why did he need to say that? What was happening to him? The questions filled me like slow, rising waves I couldn't control. I held the note to my chest for a moment. The paper felt warm from my hands. And I whispered, "I won't." But I didn't know if he would hear it. 3 days later, he walked into the cafe. I saw him the moment the door opened. His posture was different. More tired. More fragile. As if he had been through something his heart could barely hold. When our eyes met, he paused. Then he walked toward me slowly. "Hi," he said, almost breathless. "Hi," I whispered. He sat down and looked at his hands instead of me. His fingers were shaking. "Are you okay?" I asked softly. He closed his eyes for a moment. "No, not really." That answer broke something inside me. "You can tell me," I said. He shook his head. "I don't want to lose you." "You won't," I whispered. He looked at me then, truly looked, and his voice cracked as he said, "You will, once you know." My breath trembled. Fear tightened around my heart. But I reached across the table and held his hand. "Whatever it is," I said softly, "I am here." He looked at my hand holding his. He sighed deeply, as if gathering courage. And then he said the words that would change everything. "I didn't come into your life empty," he said quietly. "I didn't understand. I don't." He cut me off gently. "I have something in my past. Something big. Something heavy. Something I've been trying to handle alone." He looked down. His voice was softer than I had ever heard it. "I didn't tell you before because I didn't want to scare you away." I swallowed hard. "What is it?" He took a long breath before speaking. "A few years ago," he said slowly, "I was engaged." My heart didn't break, it paused. Quietly. Softly. Unexpectedly. He continued. "She left. Suddenly. Without explanation. And it broke something in me I've never been able to fix." He looked up, his eyes filled with quiet pain. "When I met you, I felt safe. I felt seen. And that scared me more than anything." I didn't speak. I let him continue. "I didn't want to drag you into my past. But the more I cared for you, the more I felt the fear that history would repeat itself. That you would disappear one day too." His voice trembled. So I pulled back. Not because I wanted distance, but because I didn't know how to let someone close again. Silence sat between us. Not heavy. Not angry. Just full of everything that had finally been said. I didn't stand up. I didn't cry. I didn't question why he told me so late. I just listened. And after a long pause, I spoke softly. You don't have to be perfect for me. He blinked, surprised. You don't have to hide your past. You don't have to pretend you're not scared. I squeezed his hand gently. You just have to be honest. He leaned back slowly, as if my words were something he didn't know how to receive. I thought you'd walk away, he whispered. I shook my head. No. If anything, this makes me understand you more. His shoulders relaxed. His breath steadied. His eyes softened again. Thank you, he whispered, for not giving up. And in that moment, something shifted between us. Something deep. Something real. Something fragile and strong at the same time. It was the moment we crossed from quiet companionship into something more vulnerable. Something that could break us. Or build us. But the turning point was not complete. He hesitated, then said, There's something more. My heart tightened again. Okay, I whispered. Tell me. He looked terrified. Truly terrified. I still speak to her, he said. Everything inside me went still. Not because I want to, he added quickly, but because she contacted me again recently. Out of nowhere, I felt a slow ache rise in my chest. Foreclosure? I asked softly. I don't know, he whispered. She said she made a mistake. She said she wants to talk. Silence fell slowly between us. He looked at me with helpless eyes. I haven't met her, he said. I haven't replied to her message. I just didn't know how to tell you. I took a slow breath. Do you still have feelings for her? He looked shocked. No, not after what she did. He shook his head. I'm afraid of her. Not in a dramatic way, but in the way you fear the thing that once broke you. I nodded slowly. Then why are you scared? I asked gently. Because I'm falling for you, he whispered. And I don't want my past to follow me into something that finally feels right. My heart softened. Quietly, deeply. The turning point was here, right in front of us. And it was not a moment of breaking, but a moment of choosing. He looked at me, holding his breath. I will tell her I'm not interested, he said. I will close that chapter. Properly. Respectfully. Finally. He touched his chest gently. And I will do it because I want to choose you. Not because of guilt. Not because of fear. But because you deserve someone who is fully present. Someone who is not divided. Someone who sees you, only you. My eyes softened. You don't owe me perfection, I whispered again. Just honesty. He nodded. And then he did something he had never done before. He reached for my hand. With both of his hands.